If you're running a B2B company and struggling to find qualified leads who are ready to buy, then this video is going to change your entire approach to lead generation. I'm going to be revealing the exact strategy we've used within our own company as well as our clients' companies to target high-intent B2B prospects that are actively looking to buy right now, not tire kickers who are going to waste your sales team's time or your time or just clog your pipeline. Now, before we dive into things, hit the subscribe button, notification bell if you don't want to miss our weekly videos on B2B growth strategies that actually work. Now, let's get into today's topic, how to find B2B leads that actually want to buy in 2025. And I'm not going to just tell you which platforms work the best. I'm going to walk you through our complete market dominator process that you can implement immediately to start generating qualified leads that actually convert. Now, here's a reality check about the market for your product or service at any given time. This is what's called the Chet Holmes buyer's pyramid, which shows that only 10% of your market right now is either ready to buy or at least open to it. The other 90%, they're not even thinking about it. They aren't interested, or worse, they don't ever want to buy what you're selling. So that's a full 30% who will never be your customers. So how do you actively reach the 10% with buying intent? Well, I can tell you this from experience. I've tested dozens of lead generation strategies, methods, cold outreach, cold DMs, and I've only found one way to actively target high intent prospects, and that's through paid ads. And not just any ads. No other marketing methods works great for getting these prospects to actually raise their hand and say, that's me. Ads are the only tool that allows the ready to buy prospects, that 10%, to find you on their own terms when they're actively looking for solutions. Now let's put a pin in that because I'm going to come back to ads in just a second, but I really want to highlight why the typical lead generation B2B methods are fundamentally flawed when it comes to finding ready to buy prospects. Because I'm sure you've tried some of these. Email marketing and cold outreach, the issue is you're basically targeting 100% of the market. When you blast out all those cold emails or you have your SDRs making cold calls, you have no idea if they're in the critical 10% who are ready to buy or the 30% who will never buy. It's a number game with terrible odds. Now, content marketing, it's great for building authority, but it's a slow burn. And you can identify people who are actively looking to buy once they do reach out to you, but it does take a while for that to actually build up. Some marketers will actually tell you to buy intent data signals. But if you have experimented with those like I have, you know they don't really work too well. Not to mention buying intent data can become really expensive. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars for signals that are often outdated by the time you act upon them. So it'd be better for you to put that money into something else. So what about traditional ad platforms? I'm sure you've had a Google Ads. The issue is it's crazy expensive for clicks to your websites with bids that can range anywhere from the $50 to $100 for competitive terms. And then there's LinkedIn ads. And the issue with them is there's terrible targeting with high costs and they just drive up prices without really delivering results. So the question you're probably asking yourself, what is the winning platform for targeting B2B prospects in 2025? Well, it's Meta, Facebook, and Instagram. And I know what you're thinking. My B2B prospects aren't scrolling on Facebook or Instagram. I was originally skeptical too. Facebook is for boomers and Instagram is for soccer moms. And I told one of my co-founders, there's no way people are actually going to be on Facebook. We should try to test Google alongside LinkedIn. And I was dead wrong. Meta has the most data on every individual paired with the best AI algorithm for targeting, and it's by far the best ROI for ad spend. Their AI is unmatched at finding high intent B2B buyers for firms at a fraction of the cost of Google or LinkedIn. And their algorithm really identifies people that are actively looking to buy and have high intent. And this means faster sales cycles with higher conversion rates and the only reliable way to consistently generate qualified leads. So don't just take my word for it. Let's actually look at the data as well. Salesforce, HubSpot, and Microsoft all report their best performing B2B ads are on Facebook. 70% of buyers who are in the B2B space say that they use Facebook to inform their purchasing decisions. Not to mention, Facebook has 3.1 billion active ad users. That's approximately 200 plus million in the US. B2B decision makers are active Facebook users. In fact, they spend 74% more time on Facebook than the average user. And one B2B SaaS company promoted a demo through Facebook and generated 504 leads and 92 demo signups at $26 per demo. Do you know how ridiculous that is? Targeting employees at Fortune 1000 companies. This campaign filled the sales pipeline with qualified prospects from an audience that many skeptics assume isn't on Facebook. I hear that all the time from different people that I talk to. Oh, well, my audience isn't on Facebook. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. Most people have either a Facebook or an Instagram. And if they have those social media platforms, you will be able to target them with your ads. So now that we understand Facebook is the best platform for finding high intent B2B buyers, let me walk you through how to set up these campaigns at a high level, because I'm not going to get too in depth, but I have a high level with what we call our market dominator process. And it's the exact framework we use for ourselves and our clients to generate qualified leads that actually convert. So we have to do a step-by-step process for this in order for it to work. So I want to walk you through step-by-step what you need to do. Step number one is first identify your ideal client profile with surgical precision. This goes far beyond basic demographics like VP of sales at SaaS company. You need to understand what specific business problems keep them up at night, what metrics they're personally responsible for improving, the language they use to describe the challenges, what previous solutions they have tried, and why they have failed. We map all of this out in a detailed persona document that serves the foundation for everything. This is the foundation that you use to build a house on top of. If you don't have this right, everything else that you do is going to crumble. After we've developed our ideal client profile, we need to craft our positioning. This isn't just a tagline. This is how you're going to differentiate yourself in a crowded market. Because chances are, if you are operating a business in 2025, you probably have a lot of competition. So you have to ask yourself these questions. Why is your solution uniquely qualified to solve their problem? What specific results you deliver that competitors can't match? How your approach is fundamentally different from alternatives? Why now is the critical time to implement your solution? Once you've established your positioning, you're going to be able to separate yourself from the rest of the market out there. The final part of step number 1 is creating what we call a cold offer. This honestly might be the most important part of whatever you do. And the cold offer is not a service. It's something that you can provide a quantifiable claim or a low risk friction offer that gives immediate value. And the best cold offers for B2B solve an immediate problem that a prospect has today. They demonstrate your expertise without overwhelming them, and they require minimal commitment, time, money, or information. And they create a natural next step towards your core solution. The biggest issue that I see with people who are in the B2B space that want to run ads is they try to drive everyone to their $500,000 offering or their $1 million offering without having a first step. It's the same analogy that I use. You can't just meet someone on the first date and ask to marry them. You have to first take them out. You got to meet their parents. You got to have them move in with you. You got to be able to spend time with them before you can make that commitment of asking, will you marry me? And so what you want to do is build out this initial offer that gets your foot into the door, that builds trust, and it's able to be low friction. So if you can add some guarantees, for example, or you can just make it not highly as priced as your other offerings, this is going to be a great way for you to pull yourself into your prospect's world. So now that we've established your cold offer, your positioning, and your ideal client profile, we need to figure out how to set up your ads in your funnel. I'm going to give you a quick overview of how this looks, but it is much more complicated than this. You need to obviously build this out, but I'm going to give you the framework. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. We need to first create what's called our funnel architecture. You need a high converting landing page that's focused solely on your cold offer. You got to have thank you and confirmation pages that set the right expectations, email sequences and text sequences that nurture prospects and builds trust, and retargeting pixels to capture everyone who initially shows interest. Now, this funnel must be simple, focused, and eliminate all distraction. Every element has one job: get qualified prospects to raise their hand. Now, here comes the critical creative work, right? We need to develop what's called a video sales letter that hooks attention within the first 3 seconds. We also need to test multiple video ad hooks to test different pain points and desires. And then you also need to create different ad body copy that speaks directly to different segments of your ideal client profile. This is a pro tip here. Create at least 5 to 7 different creative concepts. And the winners are typically the most commonly used pain points that you hear on sales calls or talking with clients. Now, once we have established our ad hooks and we have our video sales letter on our landing page, we need to then launch and test. We start with daily budgets of around $50 to $100 and test multiple variables. What is actually resonating in terms of the hooks, different audience segments with your ICP, and different messaging. Once we're able to establish the winning campaign, then we are going to scale that winning campaign. And here are different metrics that you want to be tracking in terms of cost per call and also time spent on your landing page, as well as show up calls for that next steps. And within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll be able to identify the winning combinations that deliver the highest quality leads at the lowest cost. Now, this is the final step number 3. There are going to be 2 types of prospects who come through your funnel when you are running ads on Google. If you have them fill out a form before they watch the VSL, they will then give you their contact information in terms of their phone number and their email. Now, there will also be people who fill out the form, watch the whole video sales letter, and then book a meeting with you. With those people, you don't necessarily have to call, even though I do recommend it within your sales process. However, there are going to be people that will book in and they don't automatically book a meeting with you. Now, what we want to do with those people is actually call them. Now, if you have an SDR, you can have him do this. Now, if you don't have an SDR, here's what you should do. The best response rates for when calling these prospects is going to be in 5 minutes of the form submission. Speed to lead is very critical, and I could cite multiple studies that show you exactly why. However, just take my word for it. You need to call these leads right away. As soon as they opt in, see exactly how you can help them, see if they need your help, and then you'll be able to qualify them on that call itself. So once you get them on the phone, ask them a couple of different qualifying questions, see if you can help them, and then book them in. Your opt-in to booked rate will skyrocket if you have this SDR that is following up with these leads. That is a step number 3 within the Market Dominator process. And when implementing this correctly, you will have 3 different steps. Step number 1 is all about ICP, offer, and positioning. Step number 2 is setting up the ads and the funnel creatives, as well as step number 3 is making sure you're calling those leads to book them in. And the beautiful thing about this process is you are finding people who are actively looking up your solution. They're coming in and they're engaging with you. And so you don't have to go out and reach out to people who aren't interested in your product. And the second thing about meta ads that becomes really fun is that once you find the right metrics in terms of cost per acquisition and your customer lifetime value, this becomes a vending machine. You can put more ad spend in and you can get more calls on the back end. If you have any questions about this process and you want to know how we can implement this process within your business, feel free to book a call with me in the link in the description, and I'll be happy to show you and walk you through how we actually can build this process out for you within your business. If you guys did make it all the way to the end, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. It really does give me the encouragement to keep making these videos. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day and take it easy. Ciao, ciao.